the cities? I mean, like, if you're not in the Carolinas, do you have an app that this person can just download and they'll see where the city is when you pinpoint that city or when that city becomes available, or do they need to download it now and say, so they would download it now and say you're not in Raleigh or you're not in Greensboro. If that city becomes active, then it would say you're just now gone live in that city. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, they'll get a notification that says we're not in your city yet, but we'll keep you posted, and as soon as we get that going, you'll get a little notification both on the driver and the customer end.
Because I know that.
But we definitely. But now that you've talked about the Carolinas, man, just drop me an email, man. Let us know, man, what city, man, and we'll turn it on, man. It doesn't take us much time at all. And as I said again, our true cost is really marketing. We just want to make sure that, as I said again, we continuously look to where demand is coming from and being able to respond to that as fast as possible.
Well, we definitely appreciate you telling us. I've got one other question, but I want to bring in the next guest. But don't go anywhere, please, because I'm not sure whether the next guest. Dean, are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here, man. We do have Mr. Bradshaw here. I'm just laid back, taking it all in and listening to all the different things that we have to offer tonight here on Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. But we do have Mr. Bradshaw with us as well.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Bradshaw. How are you doing?
It's Latshaw. Cliff Latshaw.
Latshaw. I'm sorry.
Yeah. New Basetown, from New Basetown.
So tell us a little bit about your company, sir.
Yes, I figured out. Well, I'm a bass guitar player. I graduated from Berklee College of Music in 1979. But I had an amplifier when I was 13 years old from the 1950s or 60s. I don't know what it was. It was called a bass tone amplifier, and that's what got me going and playing in groups and stuff. And I played them a lot when I was real young, 13, 14, 15, up to about 16 years old. And I played, all kinds of stuff. And I was playing in a group, and I was doing pretty good, and the stuff was going. But the thing was, we started going to bigger places, and the amplifier was too small. It started to distort if you played any louder. So I went out and bought a new amplifier. The new amplifier, it wasn't any fun anymore. It didn't have any tone. It didn't do anything for me, So what I do is I make bass preamps, and I bring that same sound back to the modern amplifiers. Not every modern amplifier, but some of them. And it's something that I figured out about 20 years ago, and I've been pushing this and trying to get it, to get it out there. I got a patent on it and all that in 2013 in England, the U.S. and in China. It's just part of the push. I just push, trying to get this thing popularized. I've been talking to magazines and stuff, but they just snub me. They just all they want is money. They're just sitting there with their hand out, and and I don't have any money to give them. I work for a living. I work for every nickel I make, and if I sell a preamp, it's I'm happy, and if the people are happy with what I sell, then then I'm even happier. That's that makes my world go around. But like I said, I got these bass preamps. It's something you won't find anywhere else. I mean, you can try all kinds of stuff. They started making tube emulators and so forth that do a little bit of it. You might get one decent sound that you could use all night long with a tube emulator. Whereas with this preamp, if you take some time and set it up and everything, and it's kind of hard to do. I mean, it's not something you're just going to learn overnight. But if you take some time to do it and you go through all that, use some effect processors or some pedals or whatever you're going to do, and go through it. You can have 10 settings with a treble all the way up, 10 settings with bass all the way up, 10 settings with with a bridge pickup, 10 settings with the neck pickup, whatever you want to do, man. And it's like it's something new for a bass guitar that nobody had before.
Now, one of the things I know other people have done, and I'm just curious whether you've tried to do this or not, because I've got friends that are actually local musicians. Some of them are drummers, some of them are bassists. As a matter of fact, one of the guys I was just talking about, who's an Uber driver, is also with a funk band, and he plays a variety of instruments, including the bass, if I remember correctly. But one of the things I know that some of the people do is, you're right, magazines can be hard to break into and things of that nature. But have you tried to connect in your city with any musicians and basically have them as like your official sponsor? Because I know that oftentimes is a way that people can break into businesses. They will have the person, whether they're playing a local gig at a local club or whatever, basically that is their instrument and they are basically endorsing the instrument. Like you'll find drummers that are carrying whatever the popular drum model is. So I was just wondering if you've approached any musicians about making this kind of their official instrument.
Well, yeah, I talk to people all the time, and I made a lot of contacts on Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff like that, social media, and I hit all those people up. I try to get endorsement deals with them. I send them one for 30 days, but like it, and they can't live without it. If they figure it out, and can't live without it, fine. I'll make a deal. We'll put, let them pay as they wish. It's give them a half price deal, and I put a page up on the website. And I got about 10 or 12 of them up there right now. I even got a school of music up there. There's a school of music that has endorsed me in New Jersey. And
okay.
I did Winter NAMM and Summer NAMM this year. It's the first time I did that. And like in 2014, I think it was, I did Bass Player Live, which turned out to be a really bad experience because those people did not treat me right at all. They told me all kinds of stuff that they were going to do for me and didn't do anything, and then wrote a really nasty article about it, translated into 13 languages or whatever it was, and just really, turned my world upside down. But like I said, I understand you're a music promoter of some kind, right? You do blues and all kinds of stuff
blues,
like that.
Yeah, do blues, do all kinds of music. So I'm definitely interested in looking at your instrument and seeing what it's all about. And like I said, I don't play myself. I was not given that gift. My band teachers, I jokingly said on this show many episodes ago, told me that I did not get it. Even though most of us are supposed to have that rhythm gene, somehow I missed it. So I did not get that rhythm gene in terms of being able to play. I just let folks hear my smooth, silky voice, and that be my instrument of choice because I do MCing and I do promotions and things of that nature. But I did not get that gene that's supposed to help us play instruments. So I don't know where that gene went, but it did not go in my body. But Gabriel, as an entrepreneur yourself, do you have some advice that you might give this gentleman who's an entrepreneur as to some tactics that he might use? Because I'm sure that you ran into some hard times when you started moving. You probably didn't just start off right as you wanted it to at the beginning. I'm sure that there were things that you ran into. There were headaches. So you just heard this gentleman that's got a bass instrument that's going, and he's trying to find ways to break into it. So I was just wondering, from your own experience, what kind of advice would you give to other fellow entrepreneurs? Because it sounds like he's running to a kind of a brick wall where he's trying to find ways to get his merchandise out there. So I was wondering, I'm sure you run into that. Like I said, we talked about the competitors, which you've always got to deal with. But you're talking about competitors because he's talking about a new model. So I was just wondering what kind of advice you would give him.
Man, stay focused. Stay at it. It seems like you already know what it is and you're hardworking. Stay focused. Stay at it. Network. Network. And that's where it's at. I can see the passion in your voice when you talk about your product. Go out there and speak it to the world. Speak to anybody. You never know whose ears it might land on. But I know that's where it's at, man. Extend yourself out there. Connect with like-minded people and groups. You gotta have to, just expand. There's people out there looking for this product. There's people out there listening, or they're attentively looking, and it's just a matter of finding that one connection that can pretty much kind of sort of like push you forward. But one of the things I used to do when I used to hit these roadblocks, every time it's like I set the time when I'm working on my perfecting my craft and my product, and then every Friday, man, come rain or shine, man, I'm out there in the circuit, man. I'm shaking hands, rubbing shoulders with folks, man. I'm talking about the product. I'm talking about it with passion. And, folks are listening. It's like, man, this dude is really dedicated, right? And at some point, it's like they can no longer ignore you. It's like he's coming, All I remember was at one point is like, man, I was coming. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this, right? Because I believed in it. And, it don't matter who was saying what, how, there's always going to be people, and trust me, even up to today, who are going to try to undercut you. And, it don't matter. So you just have to stay focused. There's always going to be letdowns. Man, stay solid and stay resolute, man. Network the hell out of your product, man, and you'll get there, brother. You're probably already there, man, but just keep on going.
And along those same lines, I was wondering. Yeah, along those same lines, I was just wondering, this goes for both of you. how did Gabriel and also Mr. Bradshaw? How do you deal with those naysayers? Because you're right. I don't care what business you're in. There are always those people that are wanting to undercut you. Sometimes even people that are supposed to be your allies. Because I know that sometimes you find undercutters among folks that are supposed to be our allies, and then you find out that they are not as much a strong ally as they have originally been in the beginning. I know that there have been family members of mine that might say that they were really good about supporting everything, and then when you talk to them about doing it, like they're nowhere to be found. I remember a long time ago, I had a friend who was trying to do a film, and he we went all over the town, all over Durham. We talked to lawyers, we talked to the well-to-do, and we then set up a meeting, and I believe it was me, him, and one other person were in this well-known law firm, and we even saw people drive it up, and because they didn't see the cars, we are oftentimes birds of a feather, so they pulled up in this fancy office, and they didn't see any other cars, so they just kept on going. And this was like maybe about 10, 15 years ago, but my friend Lance is still pursuing his vision. I mean, I talked to him like earlier this year, like maybe about a month or two ago, and he's like, look, you remember that film that I was working on? Still working on it. I'm still planning to make that film. It's going to be the house party of the day. It's still going to be the house party of the day because he still has that vision. And the thing with another friend of mine who's in L.A., who's a filmmaker, he's actually done films. He did that film this Christmas. He did Pass. He's done a couple of other films. But he's got visions of a film studio. And whether it's here or whether it's a film studio / film school that'll have offices in North Carolina, when you talk to Ronnie, he's still talking that vision. Now, he might have to change his plans. Like now he's going back into the comedy circuit because he's also a stand-up comedian. So, like y'all just talked about, you got to make your bottom dollar. So he still might have to do some comedy while he's pursuing his dreams and talking to his investors. Right. But I was just wondering how you deal with those people that are the naysayers.
Man, actually, to me, one of the things that I commonly in talks that I give around the world, I always say this, and I appreciate you raising that question, is that actually when I was starting off with moving, I walked into many rooms. I knocked a lot of doors, and one of my I recall a couple of instances that resonated with me. It was one when I walked into an investor roundtable, and I pitched moving to them. I was enthusiastic. I was really driven, man. It showed, but at the end of the day, I was told by the folks in the room, they say, well, it seems like you have a solid product, but it might not, it might not, as an African American, might not take off, or maybe I need to put, a white person in front, and I can lead from behind. And I was like, man, am I not good enough? Actually that infuriated me, man, and it actually drove me to go, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to prove these folks wrong. And, and I'm going to make sure that I plaster my face and everything that's out there that's about this company. Because, as I said again, this is something that it's like I wanted to show them that it's possible. And here we are today. And that was 3.5, 4 years ago. But the other thing was when I started, going out with thinking about technology. And my idea about getting moving going was that I find a co-founder who knows technology. They build the app. I lead the company on strategy and et cetera. But that wasn't as easy as I thought it was. And I had to teach myself from scratch how to code, how to program. That's it again. It's a drive, right? But when I was knocking at doors at that time, trying to find devs and all that stuff, all I got was laughed at, and there was a lot of naysayers. It's like, well, you're starting off in 2014. At that time, Uber is valued at $80-something billion. It's like I got laughed at, right? I said you're silly, and you're gonna gamble your whole life savings towards an idea. But one of the things I always say, and I'm gonna try to make this quick, is that the people that I appreciate the most are the people who, like as I said again, who said no, right? Or the naysayers. They're the people I really appreciate the most because they took me out of my comfort zone, right? They taught me, that I had to reach within myself to teach myself this product, and perhaps because of that, I'm a better leader in my company as a chief executive of this company. But now when we're talking about when we're talking about products in terms of development of our products and everything, I know it inside out, right? Now I can lead and I can speak to technology versus if I were to have somebody make it for me, right? I know what goes in there. My blueprint is in